Okay, thanks for taking the training. We're going to move on to verification of work and testing. So, one of the key items, because we're a team coordinating different parts of the client work between the media buying and then the creative aspect of things, and then also the strategy of things, which you are kind of coordinating as a client success representative, is that you need to make sure that each parts of the teamwork come together, and you can verify that by testing things and making sure things are verified as being done, and then also sharing success and verification with the client when you have successful tests or you have successful work completion of scope of work. So when a task is finished, checking on the work that it's good quality is important as the client success rep, especially in the proofing process when you're proofing media for clients. It's a function of your job as the CSR, because the CSR has knowledge and access to information specific to the client that can guide the quality of the work. Okay, so it's up to you to have a deep understanding of the client, and that really is our guiding philosophy as a company, is that you need to make sure that you have a heavy hand in the strategy. You understand their strategic documents, you've read through their consumer profile, competitive research, you've looked those over. You've heard initial discovery calls with the client that I do with them. You need to review those and make sure you have a deep understanding of the client. So when you see the proof of work, like you see video editing come out of graphic design, or graphics come out of graphic design from our creative team, or you're talking to the media buyer about the client's goals, what their actual business goals are, because the media buyer sometimes doesn't understand it, or like their website or where they want to send traffic, things like this. It's up to you to ensure quality as the CSR. Okay, you're the one that brings things together and verifies things to make sure things are right and we're on track for the client and you have a deep understanding of the client. And if quality is bad, don't show it to the clients. You have to go back to the team member or the vendor that we use and request an increase in quality. So if it looks bad, then don't try to pass it off to the client, because it will get bad results for the client and ultimately they will fire us. So you might even have to research on how to improve quality. Like if a video comes back poorly done, you might need to go back to the creative team and say, how can we make this better? What can we do? Maybe you're getting bad quality results in the media buying. Like we're not hitting the number of leads they need. You need to go to the media buyer and say, what can we do to make these leads better? How can we get more leads? Or the client comes to you and says, hey, the leads coming in, the sales leads coming in from your ads, they're all bad quality leads. Well, that's a common thing that happens too. You got to go back to the media buyer and say, hey, look, the quality of leads coming in for the client, it's bad. Okay, we need to increase that. How can we do that? You have to start asking that question. And then you need to verify it again after iterations or like reworking is done. So in the case of maybe poor quality leads, the media buyer maybe they'll make some changes to the ads to try to increase the quality of the leads coming in. You would go back to the client maybe in a week or so and let them know. Say, hey, we made these changes. I want to verify that with you. Here's a screenshot, or here's verification, and I'm just corresponding with you, let you know it's done. I'm going to check back with you in a week to see if the quality is back up to speed. Okay, so another part of this is like testing. So testing is done when like a mechanism is in place, like a tracking tool or a reporting tool, or like a campaign is launched. There's actually a lot of testing involved with onboarding clients usually. Like when you set up a data source, you need to go into the event center and business manager and make sure that it's working. And then if it is, you'll actually take a screenshot of that, send it to the client. You're showing them verification and celebrating completion of work. Every step of the way with onboarding, and then when we do complete things in normal operations, you want to share the good news with clients, okay? And you say, hey, good news, your new proofs are ready, or good news, these strategic documents are ready for you to check out, or when you're running an automation, let's say you have to test it. So we do set up a series of Zapier automations when we onboard clients to make sure that we're sending them kind of like some extra information and some value added content, things like this that makes them kind of happier with our services. When an automation is set up, you need to run a test. And with Zapier, when we do Zapier automations, when we onboard people, it's actually fairly easy to run testing. You can actually go through and test each part of the Zap individually in there. But then, again, this applies to other tools that we use, like our Swido reporting tool. We send weekly reports to the client. So what's important is when you set that up for it to go out to the client, you don't just set it up and then walk away from it. You need to reach out to the client that you're responsible for as the CSR and say, hey, I'm sending you a test report. Did you get it okay? If you don't hear from them, then you need to text them. Then you need to call them on the office line. Then you need to email them the next day. You need to follow up with them aggressively, as we've been talking about. Since they're a business person, they're very busy. And it is important to follow up with them and say, hey, I want to make sure you're getting your reports okay. Check your spam folder. Is it in your spam folder? And then once they confirm, yes, I got the test okay, perfect. They've got it. It's verified. Perfect. You're good to go. Okay. So, not only verifying things, but making sure you're running a test when you set things up and then verifying. Okay. And then show proof of work to clients, like documenting testing results, updating the client when work is completed to celebrate completion of scope of work. So on like an ongoing basis with the operations, we'll do creative projects where we'll take the raw collateral they give us, and then we'll go ahead and send that to the creative team. We'll create new video ads for them, or maybe new graphic design. When you get that back and you share it with the media buyer for them to publish, then share it with the client and say, hey, check out these new ads that we're running for you. These are great. And make sure you're celebrating that with them and getting feedback from them. It's really important that we're verifying things, we're testing things, and we're having the conversations with the client every step of the way with everything. We want to be happy and professional in our communication with the clients and letting them know, hey, these mechanisms are working for you. Hey, the reporting automation is working great. Check out these new creatives we have. Here's some new copywriting we just put together. Here's a new strategy document. Great. Here's a screenshot. Your tracking is set up. It's working in Meta. And just, you can always reach back out to me with any questions and reassure them. All right. So I hope this makes sense. It's up to you as the CSR, as you work on client assets, to always verify that things are working properly and then test things. Just because you follow my standard operating procedure and complete something all the way doesn't mean you just walk away from it and then cross your fingers and hope it works. You have to test it and verify that it is working for sure. Okay. And then when it is, or you have positive results for the client, you share it with them in a positive way and celebrate it so they feel good about the work we're completing for them. All right. Thanks.